Welcome back to The Price of Business. I'm your host, Kevin Price, talking to you about you and your business. Price of Business contributor Brian Spitz. He has an official podcast of our program. We talk about it here frequently on the show. And he does a great job helping people understand real estate investment arena and so much more. Brian, as always, glad to have you on the program. Tell us about your company and BigStateHomebuyers.com, and also introduce your guest today.
Thanks, Kevin. Yes, my name is Brian Spitz. I'm the owner of Big State Homebuyers, and Big State Homebuyers is one of the market leaders at helping solve real estate problems. So we work with sellers who need to or just want to sell their property quickly as is. We pay cash for the properties. We also work with individual investors who want to invest in real estate portfolios for rental purposes or to flip properties. So we deal with work with both people selling and people buying investment property.
Okay, very good. Okay, and introduce your guest for us today.
Sure. Today I'm brought on Marilyn Satter, who is a certified professional organizer. Her company is Organize My World. She also has experience in dealing with hoarding situations. And I thought that this would be an interesting topic because many of the sellers that we deal with are uncomfortable listing the properties that they have because they are messy or they're just not in a position where they can get the property ready to show. So they call a company like mine. So Marilyn is affiliated with the National Association of Professional Organizers, and I'd like to introduce her for our show today.
Marilyn, welcome to the program. And it's such an incredibly hot topic. There's probably 3 or 4 TV series out there about hoarders on reality TV. It seems to be a big issue, and I think it obviously has issues that are beyond just merely messy, but psychological issues as well. And there's a lot of fear and angst for people who suffer from hoarding when it comes to dealing with this. Before you talk about hoarding, talk a little bit more about what NAPO, the National Association of Professional Organizers, is all about.
Well, good morning, Kevin and Brian. Good to be with you this morning. NAPO is the National Association of Professional Organizers, and they are the leading organizing authority. I was in the first group to become a certified professional organizer through NAPO, and now they have over 4,000 members. They help people and individuals and businesses become more efficient and, of course, more organized. So basically, that's what we do.
Very good. Your question, Brian.
And about your particular company, OrganizeMyWorld.com?
Well, OrganizeMyWorld.com, I have been in business for over 15 years, and I work with small businesses and individuals to, help them get organized personally, professionally. I have a website, OrganizeMyWorld.com. Even my website is uncluttered and easy to navigate. So they can go there and check out my bio and some tips on organizing.
So even your website is organized?
Yes.
Even my website is organized, yes.
Talk a little about dealing with hoarding issues. Do you have clients that are hoarders or are people that hire you to help deal with family members that are hoarders? Talk a little bit about that.
Well, yes, we come across that from time to time. Hoarding really is just when your collecting gets out of hand, and when it's people that collect things that basically are useless or don't have any little or no value, and that's the difference between collecting and hoarding. And also, when this starts to cause problems in their day-to-day lives, this is when the problem starts. Mm-hmm. Also, when the clutter, if the clutter keeps them from using the rooms as they're intended, for instance, if their bedroom is so cluttered that they can't sleep in there and they have to go sleep on the sofa, those are signs that you have somewhat of a hoarding problem.
Very good. So. Go ahead there, Brian.
And usually when you're called in to help consult or fix these problems, is it usually the person who has the issue themselves that reaches out, or a family member, or how does that usually work for you?
Well, usually I like to work with the individual themselves. That is when you make the most progress. When you are called in by a family member or someone other than the person that needs the organizing help, if they're not on board with the process, it doesn't work very well. So I usually insist on speaking with the person and making sure that this is okay with them. Because sometimes it's a long and arduous process, and you have to be very patient, and sometimes it takes a long time to get them to let go of these items. So, sometimes it's not an easy process.
It could be you
can't just have the daughter call and say, my mom's a hoarder, come in and help her organize. It usually doesn't work out so well that way.
Yep. So talk a little bit about where most of your clients come from. How do they get to the point where they decide they need to use a service like yours?
Most of the time, they call me and say, I'm frustrated, and I just, I've tried to do it. Usually they'll say, I've tried to do it with myself many, many times, and I've bought every organizing article out there. I've read every book that I can get my hands on, and I've tried everything, and it's not working. So I need some help. And usually that's where I come in, and then I can work with them individually. And we can come up with a system for them, and I can help them to start letting go of things and getting a process to how to work on the organizing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very, very good. Final thoughts from you, Brian Spitz. And by the way, again, I want our guest to give her website one more time.
I am at www.organizemyworld.com.
Very good. And by the way, BigStateHomeBuyers.com is a place to go for Brian Spitz. Why don't you wrap it up for us, sir?
Sure. Well, as always, you can visit us at BigStateHomeBuyers.com if you have an interest in selling your property or just want to get some tips or helpful tips about what to do to sell your property yourself. Tell us real quick as well about people bringing you in before they want to list their property. Is that something people commonly do, and how do you help people in a situation like that?
Oh, yes, definitely. I am also an accredited staging professional, so as well as helping people get organized, I can also go in and help them stage their home to get it ready to sell. And this is really important when you are looking on the internet to buy a home. And I am absolutely astounded at some of the homes that I see on there where the beds aren't even made. And so I go in and I help them declutter and make it presentable so that people can go in and look at their homes.
Yeah, that's very important. All right, thanks to both of you. Great topic. Thanks for bringing us for us, Brian.
Absolutely. Thank you, Kevin, and thank you, Marilyn.
And make sure you check him out. Yeah, thank you, Marilyn. Awesome information. Thank you so much. And people really need to look at that, whatever the need is. If you think you're disorganized, you probably are, and you probably need to speak to Marilyn. I'm Kevin Price. You're listening to The Price of Business.
It's so hard living with the things